What if someone told you that Toy Story was overrated?
What? We've got to untangle that. Welcome to Tangled Fandom, the podcast where we weave together the magic of Disney with all of your favorite fandoms beyond the Disney bubble. I'm Erica, your resident Disney lover.
And I'm Reggie, your guide to the multiverse of pop culture. Today, we're going to be ranking the top 10 highest grossing animated films of the 1990s. The 90s were a golden age for animation, so the movies we're going to be ranking today collectively brought in millions at the box office.
Yes.
But were they worth the money that we spent? Let's dive into the numbers and see which films truly gave viewers the best bang for their buck.
All right, so we are going to be using a tiered ranking system
Yes.
for today's list, right?
Yes.
So we've got the typical A through F. So think about you're back in school, you're back in high school, middle school, elementary school, A through F, but we are going to spice it up a little bit with one additional tier, and that is the S tier,
Or the supreme tier.
All right, so let's get into it.
All right. So at 10, we had Mulan that came out in 1998, made over $300 million, story of honor, bravery, and one of Disney's most inspiring, heroine, right? So where do you rank this movie?
Okay, well, Mulan is my third favorite princess. Number 1 is Tiana. Number 2 is Moana, and number 3 is Mulan. So I am going to rank it probably at an A tier, just because I don't know. I know that I just love her so much. I love that story so much. And I think that it was groundbreaking because it had a lot of different themes in it that hadn't been done before. Like, a girl fighting like in a war and,
it was a risk. It was a
cross-dressing and all kinds of things.
It was a risky movie. And I think because it took the time and effort to like go there and like tell a great story, but also the soundtrack was incredible too.
True.
I'm gonna say that Mulan is also an A tier.
An A tier?
A tier.
Okay.
So
plus Eddie Murphy in it is undeniably amazing.
Undeniable. Right. So
dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow, just dishonor. Okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna put Mulan in the
A tier. All right.
Okay, so next up we have The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
All right.
That came out in 1996, and it made just slightly more money than Mulan. Again, over $300 million. Now,
$325 million. So Mulan was like 304. Hunchback of Notre Dame is $325 million.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It was a dark film. Hated the villain. I mean, really hated the villain. Like that movie. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Where do you put it?
D tier. D tier. I feel like it had like one great song to me, and then the rest of it, like I couldn't tell you more than.
Yeah, it's definitely not one of Disney's most like popular movies at all.
S-tier villain, because he was awful and I hated him.
But I don't even know his name, and I'm not going to give him any more room in my mind.
It was forgettable.
So I think that it was forgettable, and I'm definitely going to say F tier because I just thought that he was trash. But he did have some good songs, so maybe upgrade it to a F plus. D.
C, D. So, and if you disagree with us, let us know in the comments, because tell me if you can remember without Googling any details about that movie other than them not liking him because he got a hunchback.
Yeah.
I'll wait. Okay, so for number 8, we have Pocahontas, which is one of my favorites, like Mulan. Brought in over $346 million in the box office. The visuals, the songs still hold up today. Shout out to Grandmother Willow. But like, other than the story being much worse in real life, the story of Pocahontas, it was a fun film. I enjoyed it. What about you?
No, give us your ranking first.
Well, I was still processing what my ranking would be. I would say that it's a B tier, just a B tier, because I just think that more could have been done. Like it could have told more of Pocahontas' story. I feel like Pocahontas was like a little bit secondary to the plot of these people coming and taking the land, but I don't know if we found out a whole lot about Pocahontas as a person. We found out, there was some mystique still. So like I just feel like it could have been better to me.
I'm gonna say C tier. Okay. I just didn't care for it that much.
That's
I don't
fair.
know.
That's fair.
There's not much else to it. Like it had some good music. It had some cool animation at the time. But I mean, it's one of those movies that I can watch every 10 years
You know
and
what?
be okay.
You know what? I think I can agree with you to take it down to a C tier. Like it's not. I don't have to watch it again anytime near. So we're gonna go ahead and rank it at a C
A C
tier.
tier.
Okay. All right. So number 7 is a movie that grossed over $363 million at the box office. It's a fun and size adventure that's big on heart. And no, it's not Ants, which actually ironically came out around the same time. It's Pixar's A Bug's Life.
R.I.P. to A Bug's Life in the Tree of Life at Animal Kingdom.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
So A Bug's Life to me is like it's cool. I enjoy it. I do know the story front to back. So it's not a D tier, like it was not forgettable. It's not a C tier because it was a terrible story. For me, just on a merit, it's like a C plus, B minus. Because I don't, again, it's not one of those like essential viewings. I feel like it's essential viewings for kids, but I'm not running back to Disney Plus and be like, you know what, I really want to watch A Bug's Life.
C tier. I probably wouldn't. It maybe as a 2-for-1 ticket, but I'm not paying money to see A Bug's Life in the theaters. No.
That's fair. So
Yeah.
we're going to go ahead and rank it at a C tier. Okay, so number 6 is the one that started it off for Pixar, Toy Story. From 1995. That is crazy. 1995.
95.
Wow. So
Where were you in 95?
Shout out to the 30-year-olds. All right. So Toy Story made over $373 million at the box office. It was iconic because it introduced us to a new type of animation. You know, it's Tim Allen and, I don't know why I forgot Buzz's actor's name right now. That's crazy. I'm sorry. Tim Allen was Buzz's actor. Tom Hanks. They did that movie justice, and I loved it. So for me, Toy Story is an A tier for sure. I know, contrary to what I said earlier, I don't think that Toy Story is overrated, but at the same time, Disney has done better movies. So since then,
I'm going to say S tier because to your point, it had groundbreaking animation.
Agreed.
They were doing something that had not been done before at Pixar with Toy Story. And I think it birthed a whole different strand of fandom when it comes to Toy Story and all of the extended storytelling that we've had. And, the fact that we're about to have our 5th one, no one really asked for it.
True.
But
you know what? And
no one
right.
really asked for Toy Story 5. I feel like it wrapped up pretty good after 3. 4 was again, one of those ones that's not,
Well,
it would rank low.
But I don't think 4 was for us, though. I think 4 was for new generation of Toy Story
Well, we're
lovers.
talking about the OG, the original, the trendsetter, the trailblazer, the original Toy Story, which I think is S tier because of how it paved the way for so much new storytelling, so much new fandom, and introducing new types of fans to it. Because to that point, there's been a lot of princesses and fairy tales and stuff like that within Disney, and I think that Toy Story invited more people, maybe boys or other people into its fandom.
You've convinced me. It's definitely an S tier because it bucked the norm and it broke the mode. So we're gonna go ahead and give Toy Story an S tier. Okay. So breaking into the top 5, we have Beauty and the Beast making over $424 million at the box office. And actually it was the first animated film nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. So Erica, what do you think about Beauty and the Beast? Where would you rank it?
Beauty and the Beast, I'm gonna say is a C tier.
It's overrated.
It's a C tier in my mind.
Absolutely.
And I could go into a whole
Stockholm
thesis,
syndrome
exactly.
and
thesis, and I could get really
manipulation
academic.
and chauvinistic behavior.
Yeah, I could get really academic and nerdy on y'all, but I'm sure y'all don't want to hear that right now. But I'm just gonna say I dearly don't agree with a lot of the themes that were in the movie, and it's not a movie that I promote to my children, to my daughters.
That's true.
And I mean, it had some good songs. Again, I love some good. Some
it
of
has
the
some
songs,
classic and iconic songs, but it doesn't really add much of anything. I mean, not it doesn't really add a whole lot to me. So, what would you rank it?
I said a C tier.
Oh yeah,
What do you think?
C,
C tier.
C tier, C tier. Okay, at number 4, we have one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. Um, and this movie and Phil Collins was a standout for the time period, right? It made over $448 million at the box office. I'm talking about 1999's Tarzan. I love Tarzan. I think that it was a great movie. I think that it had a great plot. I think the music was fantastic. Do I feel like it's one of those like essential viewings? No. So I don't think it's an S tier. Do I think it's an A tier? Like there was no. I think there was a little bit more that they could have done with it. So I would sit it solidly at a B tier.
C tier. I guess I'm a harsh grader.
Soundtrack brings it up to a B for me. So soundtrack brings it up to a B.
I mean, yes. Okay. C plus in my book. C plus.
Okay, so that would put us about a B minus. So
Yeah.
I guess Tarzan, the B tier.
B tier.
B
for
tier.
sure.
Okay, for number 3, we have
Top three, y'all.
Yep,
Top three.
Top 3. For number 3, we have Toy Story 2, which brought in almost $500 million at the box office, $497 million at the box office as a sequel.
A sequel.
Okay, and it's not even. I don't even think that it's better than Toy Story 1. But I do. I love that they expanded on like the lore of the Toy Story universe, and I actually enjoyed like meeting the old prospector and Jesse and Bullseye, and like I really enjoyed that movie. So I know we said Toy Story was an S tier. I would say Toy Story 2 would be a or a B tier.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a B plus. A B plus.
Okay.
But I think that the money that it brought in is the indicator of how much it resonated with people.
Yes.
You know, they saw the first one and were just like, oh, wow, we got to see the second one.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why they are beating it. They riding that horse. They are riding the Toy Story horse, which is why we are getting a 5th one.
Yeah.
Because they know that it's going to perform well. But is it worth our money? I don't know. Only time will tell. I'm interested to see how they are approaching like iPad kids and all that sort of stuff.
And I feel like that's where they're moving. Like I said earlier in this episode, I think that like Toy Story 4 was like the start of another generation of kids.
Yeah.
And what was like important to them. So it's like a second trilogy that's happening. It's just we're older, so we see Toy Story 5. We're like, oh, it's not a Toy Story movie. But these kids are like, there's 5 of them?
Yeah. And as parents of Gen Alpha kids, it's going to be interesting to see their take on Toy Story and ours. So
Agreed.
yeah.
So Toy Story 2, a B
B
tier.
tier.
Yep.
B tier.
Yep.
All
Yep.
right.
Yep. So coming in at number 2, listen, this is an S tier. Okay, it's an S tier. Aladdin. Okay, Aladdin brought in over $504 million at the box office. It was a whole new world at the box office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Robin Williams alone made that movie an S tier. The fact that a lot of the jokes and things were just him riffing, and it still didn't take away from the story. I really enjoy Aladdin. Like, I can sing a bunch of songs from that movie like over and over again. I can go back to see it. Like, I was excited to see Aladdin on Broadway. Like, it is essential viewing for me. So Aladdin for me is an S tier. What about you?
I probably would have given it an A, maybe like an A plus, not quite S, but
That's fair.
I mean, I think that it was great. To your point, it had really cool animation features
For
when you think
sure.
about like the sand, like the getting into
the Cave of Wonders.
the Cave of Wonder. There you go.
Yes.
I think that all of that was cool, and Robin Williams as Genie was brilliant. Like chef's kiss.
Chef's
Like
kiss,
he
yes.
was brilliant, and he carried the movie. Honestly,
He did.
He carried the movie. So, but without him, like I don't think it could have stood the way that it did.
So let's take a second to think about this. Without Robin Williams singing, you still have a whole new world.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
but I'm talking. I don't know. I just think performance-wise,
Well, no,
he carried.
He elevated. That's
like
why
his
I
character
said
carried
his
it.
performance elevated it to an S tier for me.
Yeah.
That is the difference. Without him, it's still a solid movie. Probably goes down to a B tier for me because it's still a solid movie, just a story. because Jafar is one of the more memorable villains in the whole Disney catalog,
Yeah.
right? So I'm gonna meet you where you are, and we can call Aladdin an S tier.
An S tier. I
I'm
said A
sorry, an
tier.
A tier.
Okay.
I was
So
trying to
Aladdin
convince her.
is an A
A tier.
tier. All right.
All right. So our last one. Now, again, this is one of those ones. My gut, my heart says it's an S tier, but the box office also says it is an S tier. With almost $1 billion worldwide, I mean $968 million at the box office in 1994. The Lion King, y'all. The Lion King is so relevant that we just had Mufasa come out.
Yeah.
If that doesn't tell you that the staying power is real, they are still eating off of Jason Weaver and his performance singing as young Simba.
Yep.
There have been Broadway shows. There have been spin-offs. There have been sequels. There have been Kion, the Lion Guard.
Yeah.
There has been Timon and Pumbaa. You know, like
We got half movies.
we got
like
half
one and a half.
1.5 and 2 3/4.
Yes.
You know, we have Lion like Simba's in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
The Lion King game is one of, and from the old Sega Genesis and Nintendo is one of the hardest games of all time.
All right, that's enough.
I'm just saying the Lion King is an S tier.
It's an S
It's
tier.
an S tier.
S tier.
Do we have to debate it?
I mean, it's a mic drop. I
Like
mean,
we ain't even talking about the soundtrack, other than Elton John. So, like, I'm gonna reel it in. But the point is, I really truly believe that the Lion King
S
is
tier
an S tier
for sure.
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
so go ahead.
Let's get into some honorable mentions. I mean, well, first of all,
I'm
of
not.
those top 10,
I'm not
were
apologizing
most
for
of
that
them
tangent.
were most of them worth your money? You think so?
Lion King
Were they-
was absolutely.
I would say only a few of them, only a handful of them, I think were
Lion
worth
King,
the money
Mulan,
that we spent as
Toy
viewers.
Story, Aladdin. They could have my money
Yeah.
again.
Most of the other ones, I'm waiting for it to come out on Disney Plus. Okay.
See, oh wow, we are on VHS.
On VHS/Disney Plus, modern
Blockbuster.
day.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Hollywood Video.
Yeah. But let's talk about some of those honorable mentions.
Yes.
So these are movies that are not necessarily Disney movies, but they brought in some money, okay, back in the 90s.
Okay.
So we've got movies like Hercules. This one is Disney. So we
A-tier.
got Hercules.
A tier.
Now, y'all know how I feel about Hercules and the Muses, okay? I love them. So for that, I would think that Hercules, let me bring it back down.
Let the nostalgia take you.
It's a B tier movie.
Okay.
Hercules is
All
a B tier
right.
movie
You're
in
not
my
wrong.
opinion.
Soundtrack brings it up to an A though.
Yes, but I can't speak highly enough about the Muses.
Okay. All right.
But other ones are The Prince of Egypt.
S tier.
S tier for
S tier.
you.
S
I'm
tier.
gonna see
Musically.
B minus.
Okay. All right. All right.
But that one brought in, so Hercules brought in 252 million,
Yes.
and Prince of Egypt brought in 218 million.
If that movie was a Disney film, it would have did better than most of that top 10.
You think so?
Yes, because like DreamWorks was still like early in their animation, and I feel like it didn't make as much money because people were like, DreamWorks, you're not Disney.
I mean, do you also think that it was because it was like religious?
Religious,
themes
yeah, yeah,
also?
but but that's what I'm saying. That's one of those movies that went platinum in my house. We watched that enough because
Well,
the
we was
music.
churched though.
Well,
so
yeah, but the music was really good too.
it was.
So like,
That's true.
you know, and listen, y'all, I'm not gonna keep throwing on S tiers because I'm gonna be more, harsh about that. It's definitely a solid B tier for sure. But again, these soundtracks, like I'm remembering singing these songs and like, we even talked about it in the toe tapping episode.
Yeah, if you haven't watched that video, go back and check it out.
Please check it out. So I'm a big like fan of musicality. So that takes me.
Yeah. All right. And another honorable mention is the counterpart to A Bug's Life that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Ants, which actually bought in $171 million.
D tier.
For sure.
I don't even want to stay on this D tier.
Yeah.
Yes. So, what you started to see, like, as the 90s went on, like, yeah, Disney definitely dominated, but, like, this is where some of the studios that are like big now got their beginning. Started to carve their niche, because DreamWorks is How to Train Your Dragon, and you talking about sequels on sequels on sequels, and epic universe
Trolls,
worlds, and
yeah.
and worlds at Universal, like Trolls, like without these forays into animation in the 90s, we don't get these new timeless classics.
Yeah, they definitely found their, like, we're starting to catch their stride
They
at
found
this
their
point.
lane. Yeah, like Shrek. Like
Uh-huh.
we don't get Shrek
Yeah.
without ants or or the Prince of Egypt.
Well, I think that's it. What do you got?
I think that's it. We're not done with the 90s, but we got done with some of those 90s films. So let us know in the comments, what do you think? And also don't forget to subscribe and let us know. So until next time,
Keep embracing the fandoms that you love.
see you real soon.